Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 61 of the GVGCast. I'm your host for today, Ash Paulson, and I'm joined by a full house today. We got my fellow GVG co-founder, Derrick Bittner, and all my good friends, Derrick and Brandon Miracle and Daniel Alba. How's it going, everybody?
Hey.
Hello.
Good.
This is the first time in a while I think we've had a full house, right? A whole 4 people.
I mean,
busy.
we doubled from
least that I
last
was
week
here
because
Yeah.
it was just me and Daniel last week.
Right.
I was supposed to be here last week, but I had the cardinal sin of forgetting that we had plans for my wife's birthday.
Ooh.
You
that
chose
is-
your
yeah,
wife
crucial
over
mistake.
us. I am a.
You.
How could
You
you?
chose violence, my friend, if you forgot that.
Oh
Man.
You know, I'm getting older, okay?
Fair enough. Fair enough. I
Mm.
think we all know how that feels. Maybe except for
okay.
you, Daniel. Not you, Danny. You're still young and strapping.
I'm older than Brandon, so I don't know
Are
what
you?
you're
I
talking
knew that. I thought you were the baby of the team. Brandon's the youngest?
Brandon's a baby, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Isn't
Or
John
no,
younger
John's a,
than me?
no, John's a
I
baby.
think John is the baby.
Oh, I thought he was older than both of you guys. Well, here I got
No.
my
dear.
ages all mixed up.
Yeah, I'm
You know
a
what?
couple years
Let's
older than John.
Let's just say I'm the youngest of the group, since I don't seem to know. We'll just go with
There
me
you go.
being the
And you might be the oldest
Yeah.
since you're going. You have no memory. So.
Oh yeah, exactly right. Speaking of birthdays, actually, happy birthday to my mom. Her birthday was yesterday, and I know she's not
birthday.
watching. She watches sometimes. I don't think she's watching today, but happy birthday, Mom! I love you so much. And also, happy birthday to 2 of our patrons, C. Turlack, who celebrated their birthday on June 7th, and Grantles, whose birthday is coming up on the 19th, coming
Very
up this
cool.
Monday. So, happy birthday to both of you. And just for now though, how you guys doing? What you been playing? I know one thing y'all been playing that I wish I could talk about too, which is the FF16 demo.
Yeah. Should we do? I feel like that has its own can of worms. Should we do our shout out first before we get into
Sure,
that?
sure. That might be a little while. Good point. Good point.
Before
Real
we
quick.
do that,
Okay.
I think Brandon knows
Patron
too.
chat down. Yeah,
What's
What's-
up?
I
the
think
patron
Brandon-
chat on stream needs to be scrolled down.
Oh, you're
Oh.
correct.
Oh, actually.
Actually, I have the wrong thing up
we
completely.
have. Are we reacting to something?
No,
today?
we're not.
Or-
Why did nobody tell me about this?
I didn't even see it.
I didn't see it till now.
I'm more
you
upset
go.
at patron chat. They weren't saying anything. Oh my
Oh.
gosh. I am sorry. I am preparing for my one little vacation a year. I get to just take
Yeah.
time off. I'm in vacation mode, but unfortunately Steve's sick, or
okay.
otherwise he'd be here and I'd be gone.
You know what? This is a feature, not a bug. All the people who listen to this show audio only, the podcast version, they weren't here to see this. They weren't here to see us doing it live and making the occasional mistake here. So you guys got a bonus.
I spent all that time getting it set up and I chose the wrong frickin' thing. I can't believe it.
Gotta love it. Oh, that's all good,
no.
man. And like you said, you're looking forward to a vacation very soon. You're taking one of your annual vacations with friends, or I guess your annual vacation with friends pretty soon, right?
Yeah. We just have this thing we get together once a year, and we've done it. It's almost done 20 years now because we started when we graduated high school.
That's awesome. I love that you guys continue to have that. I would give anything to be able to go on like a camping trip or like a trip where we rent out a house with my friends, but there's just not those kinds of. They just don't want to do that stuff. They just don't. They don't really want to plan stuff like that. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I think it'd be a blast. I'd like all of us to do it. Let's all rent out a GVG house for a weekend
man.
and just have a weekend of streams and just going crazy.
That'd be
I
fun.
would
That'd be
love
nice. That'd be so
Yeah.
nice.
But before we get too much further, as always, we do have to shout out our amazing sponsor for this week's episode, the Game Orb. And the Game Orb is a YouTube channel that brings commentary and gameplay footage from the Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series X gaming systems. While games like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu can be seen on the channel along with others, the Game Orb will also now be adding Splatoon 3, Super Mario Sunshine, and Fall Guys to the gaming collection. So be sure to subscribe to the Game Orb at the link in the description, and as always, I have pinned a link to our YouTube chat. Please go show them some love if you haven't already. They have been sponsoring us and sponsoring both today's News Tonight and now GVGcast from the very, very beginning. So thank you so much, Game Orb. Seriously.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, let's get into it. Derrick, I know you are burning to talk about the Final Fantasy 16 demo.
Oh boy.
I unfortunately have not played it yet. I've been unfortunately going through some emotional.
Was that an intentional pun? Because dear God, that was like on point.
That, you know what? That was not. That
Like
was
you
not
have no
intentional at
idea
all.
how well that pun works.
Wow, sure. Yeah, you know what? I was not intentional, but let's just say it was. Let's just say it was. But no, it definitely wasn't. I unfortunately have not played it despite my best intentions. I went to the launch party on Sunday. That was awesome. I meant to play it this week, but unfortunately, I've been kind of going through a bad emotional situation with my family, which has really been taking a lot of my time and emotional energy, really. So I just haven't had the free time or the wherewithal to play the demo yet. But I want to hear about how you all feel about it.
I mean, I think Brandon, Daniel, and I can agree that maybe you should be in a better emotional place before playing this.
I had a feeling. I
Yeah.
know it's pretty dark. Yeah. Yeah. I had a feeling.
This, I think that I don't think I've seen a demo sell people on a game this hard in a long time.
Yeah.
It is like I have not even bothered playing the extra stuff that comes afterward. You get to see later in the game where it's more gameplay. I'm sold just on that. I'm like, no, I don't need to see later stuff. I just want to pick up where I left off because it is very story heavy. There's not a ton of combat in there, and it's still kind of basic at this early point, but dear God, it is just, it hits all the right points. Like if I could compare it to anything, just as Zelda kind of feels like it could be compared to as like the epitome of open world, this might be the epitome of linear. It just,
Really?
yeah.
Even more than 13.
Yeah.
Oh, well, not linear in that way, but just
Oh.
the strength of linear storytelling in games.
Oh,
Not just- it's not a-
completely hear that.
It's not exactly a corridor in this thing. I guess you can, if you look at the maps over well, but they hide it better than 13 ever did.
Gotcha. No, you know what? I am in complete agreement with you and have been for years. I hate that linearity sometimes comes off as an anti-buzzword. I love linear storytelling, and there is such strength to that kind of storytelling and structure in a game. So I'm right there with you. But Brandon, I know you're ready to say something. Go for it, my friend.
Well, if you want plot, they're gonna slap you with some plot. Like, I haven't played a game that has this many cutscenes
Really?
since, like, Metal Gear Solid.
Even
But they're
even
all
like Xenoblade
engrossing.
3,
That's the
or-
fun thing.
Oh, this isn't a complaint. Like, it's
Uh-huh.
it's fantastic. Like, they really don't care. They are spending the time necessary to get you adjusted to these characters, to understand the world, and get you attached to them. I really started to like Clive by the
Okay.
just the end of the demo. I think he's a very strong protagonist, even though I only got 2 hours with him. Even some of the side characters who may or may not even be involved later on, I ended up really liking.
Yeah. These two guys showed up and I'm like, oh, please be named Biggs and Wedge. They're not, but they could have been Biggs and Wedge just from the sense you get from them.
Those are the exact two people I had in mind, so I'm glad we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah,
Right.
I think this has a really strong showing. I agree with Derrick that I think the early combat is a little bit basic, but I also held off from doing the extra stuff because I just don't want to see any of it. Like, I'm ready to just let the game show itself to me when it's ready. Yeah.
Bear it all to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Well, speaking of bearing it all, we'll be talking about Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth a little bit later on in this show. But Daniel, how are you feeling, man, about the FF16 demo?
I had no intention of buying Final Fantasy 16 when I saw the like the initial trailers leading up to like when the demo came out. So
And it sounds like now you do have intention.
I'm gonna buy it day one.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the overall story that you see so far, I mean, it's perfectly made to be a demo. Like where they start it and where they end it, it's like a perfect demo as far as like getting to know the world and characters. So you don't have to really involve yourself too much in gameplay to be sold on it, in my opinion. Even though what you have there is it's a good enough taste, it's a good enough appetizer of gameplay to understand like what it's going to be about. You can unlock some skills within the demo to kind of see like, oh, there's going to be. It's not as simple as when they do the tutorial. There's going to be a lot of different options to you in battle, which is very fluid.
And
So
I was it when I saw those options, it's like, oh god, I have to try to remember these things and hope I integrate them. But it was immediate for this one. Like I was just I got them right into my repertoire, and to see the little icons pop up, you did this, get stars, get this stars, and that increases how much experience you get from it. Like it's like, ooh, feedback.
there's a lot of positive feedback with the with all your actions, and the way you can like dodge and then attack and then do combos with attacks and jump and combos, they all kind of flow into each other. So it's not really a problem of worrying about how to do said combos. And if you are worried about it, there's accessibility options to equip a charm so that you can actually do one hit combos and make it so that you don't have to worry too much about that. There's like the whole story focused or gameplay focused paths. So if you're not too confident in action RPG style games, you can definitely be they can definitely adjust you to that. But yeah, the story itself, I'm excited to see like where these characters go, because the cinematography, the voice acting, like my god, like the voice acting towards the very end where it's very brutal. Like the voice acting for Clive is phenomenal, and it's like wow, I you're really invested even within just 2 hours. But yeah, you were mentioning there's characters that I really like. There's characters that I already hate and I want to see die.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there's also like just everybody's talked about it. I don't think this is a spoiler because I've saw it pop up everywhere before I played the demo, but there's just like visual callbacks to things, because there's a Dragoon in the demo and he makes his appearance just like the artwork of Kain from Final Fantasy IV.
Oh, that's neat.
Like,
I love
Awesome
that.
callbacks.
There's a lot of that.
Okay.
I saw Icaro earlier in the live audience mention that they said Malboro wrong. They call it a Morble, and that's actually straight out of 14. There's a lot of like I think that's a lesser Malboro. It's not the full on one.
Oh yeah.
Because I have seen Morble as well. Like I think I played FF14 just long enough to see that too, Derek, because I was actually already aware of that as well.
It threw me off when I played that, but you do eventually see Malboros, and it's like
Okay.
there we go.
I'm so glad to hear the Universal. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brandon.
I also saw some people saying that the Dragoon was voiced by the voice of Estinian from Final Fantasy XIV.
Was he?
And I haven't met that character yet, but Derek, it sounds like you do know who that is.
God, I'd have to. Before I played the demo, it'd been a while since I played 14 and heard the character of Estinian. So I'm not 100% sure on that one. If it is, that's good.
Evan in the chat is saying that Estinian is a Dragoon.
Yeah, Estinian is a Dragoon. That is true, but I don't know whether it's the same voice actor. That's the thing I don't know of.
Well, I'm definitely glad to hear all your universal praise for Clive, because I haven't been really sure about him, and it sounds like I'm in for something pretty great with him. Really, the only part I've played of FF16 so far was the demo they had at the launch party, which sadly was just the Garuda. Well, it was a regular fight with Garuda and then the Akon battle, and so, but that one fight, the regular fight, wasn't really enough to get a feel for the combat, and then the Akon fight, visually unbelievable, but mechanically a little bit simple. So I'm like, I don't feel like I've gotten really a good feel for this game yet.
Based on the icon fights that you get in the beginning, they might all be like that, where they're just mechanically simple.
Yeah,
but it's the spectacle and the music. My God, the music during that section
is insane. The music is insane, and I was really. I mean, I know this is like the first M-rated mainline Final Fantasy, but man, some of those attacks are brutal.
You have no idea.
Brutal.
They earn
I ain't seen nothing yet. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I have not seen so many people get their throat cut in a game in a while.
It's vicious. Do not play this in front of someone who's squeamish.
And that's the crazy thing about this, is that it is brutal like this, and but it's still. And it's not Amy's type of game, but she's still sucked into the plot. She had to step away for a certain point and just kind of listen and get my kind of breakdown. She can't actively watch it, but the plot itself has her invested. She's just like, all right, tell me what's going on as I play through it.
Oh, I love that. That's there was. Oh, go ahead, Brandon.
I was gonna say there's a gameplay feature for the story that I actually really like. The active time lore.
Yeah.
If you ever hear like a word that you don't know like what it means in the context of the world, you just hit the touchpad, and there's a good chance there's going to be a definition on screen for you. It's really cool. Like, I watched the first set of cutscenes, and, they kind of throw a lot at you at the very beginning. So it was nice to just open up the active time lore and kind of read up on a few things, get some extra context. It helped me get invested in the world faster.
Yes. It's pretty snappy too. Like there's not like a ton about it, but it's just enough to see it all tie in and see how it all ties together. Also, Magna Insomnia in the YouTube chat is confirming that the Dragoon VA is the same as the Stygian.
Cool.
That's awesome. That's a good bone to toss towards 14 fans because he's a popular character.
All I know is I visibly recoiled when Clive stabs Garuda in the eye. That I was like, at least in the demo I played, that which is what it directly preceded the Garuda battle. The icon, is it icon or Acon?
I think it's.
It's pretty sure it's icon.
Yeah, I think it's
icon. And, then I was like, oh god, that just looked incredibly painful. But I'm really looking forward to playing the demo sometime this week. But I fully cop to, just because with the kind of the family crisis I've been going through, I just haven't had the emotional energy. So I've kind of been defaulting to games like Tears of the Kingdom, which is a little bit less emotionally intense a lot of the time, and Rocket League and stuff like that. So
I am looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this.
I am too,
because you have not been sold on this game, and it sold Daniel. So
right,
something that'll heal you when you're playing that game. Torgal's a very good boy.
Oh my god, Torgal is adorable. You have no idea.
I got a little pixelated. I got a little pixelated Torgal pin from the FF16 launch party.
That's cool.
I'm jealous.
It's in the kitchen. I should have gone to grab it. But of course, for me, I haven't been playing the 16 demo, but I have been playing Tears of the Kingdom, chipping away at that very slowly. Still haven't done any regional phenomenon, but I have done like 55 shrines and lit up 16 light routes.
You've done more shrines. I've done more light routes. I've done one of the main areas. Yeah.
Okay. There's just so much I could talk. We don't have time, but there's just so much I could say. It's just the joy of discovery. I did one of the labyrinths. Like one of the 3 maze labyrinths, the Lome labyrinths.
I haven't found one of those yet. That's the crazy thing, is how different.
Oh my god! All I can say is it is not what you would be expecting based on what they were like in Breath of the Wild, and that is all I'll say. The Lome labyrinth related quests are something else. That's all I'll say. Something else. Yeah.
We'll get to that. I will say I didn't get a chance to play it. I'm actually going to try to play it while I'm on my vacation because I'm very interested in it. I've been hearing good things. I want to try the Lies of P demo because I hear it is.
Yes.
A lot of people are like, this feels like Bloodborne 2. Like it has its own personality, but there's it feels like what people have been saying. I'm like, you know what? I want to try this.
I want to try that, and this weekend my wife and I will at some point be trying the Ghost Trick demo, and I'm so excited.
Oh, nice.
Play that with her. So excited. But we do have some stuff to talk about today, and Derrick, I know you're in a bit of a time crunch, so let's go ahead and power through some of these super chats and then move on to the news, or some of the news from the week anyway. So first off, Disney Duncan with $5. Thank you so much. Saw The Flash last night, and it was pretty good, but I don't want Ezra Miller as The Flash anymore. I don't think anybody wants Ezra Miller as The Flash anymore. So glad you enjoyed the movie, though. I want to see it just for Michael Keaton's Batman. Like, oh man, that's so cool.
I heard a pretty decent joke about Ezra Miller that's actually completely fine. I'm pretty sure if I'm out of line, tell me, but I'm pretty sure it's fine because basically executives heard they them and they got confused, and that's why there's 2 Ezra Millers in the game in the movie.
Oh, okay.
You didn't get the joke at all. It's just like, oh, okay, that's for real.
Yeah.
No, that's oh my god, Ash.
Right. No, sorry. I was distracted by something over on my end. That's not you. Sorry about that. I don't have too much interest in seeing it myself, other than the Michael Keaton aspect. But sorry. I was distracted by a DM over here. But yes. Moving on, Disney Duncan with another $5. Thank you so much. Kind of disappointed that several MCU movies got delayed, but at least Deadpool 3 is coming sooner. Yes, very much looking forward to Deadpool 3. There aren't that many. I guess the next one is The Marvels, which is like November, I think. I know there's Secret Invasion for streaming.
Yeah.
But I think that's the next movie, and I'm definitely looking forward to The Marvels. I love that previous trailer that they announced. But right now, it's I still haven't seen Across the Spider-Verse, mainly because of all this stuff going on this week. But hopefully this weekend, I'm so excited about it. Yeah. Oh, don't worry, it's happening. It's not a lack of interest or anything like that. It's just a matter of life getting in the way repeatedly. But I am going to see it.
That said, I'm okay with the delays because Writers Guild, like, they've been getting screwed for years. They need need this to happen. Full support that whole thing. Like this, especially the whole practice of like not releasing finished movies just to get a tax write-off. That's some crap.
Oh no, absolutely. Wow. I think we all stand in complete solidarity with the writer's strike. And I was driving through Burbank a few days ago and saw them all picketing out in front of Warner Brothers Studio, and I honked and of course just showing my support. And I hope they get what they deserve, because and in a good way. That sounds bad.
I hope they get what's coming to them.
Lousy unionists need to be taken down a peg.
I hope they get the perks and the benefits and the higher pay they deserve.
Dang,
that's what I mean.
Brutal.
That's what I mean. You know it. Next up, Jaden Buck with $5. Thank you so much, Jaden. Crazy Question Fridays, crazy question number 86. Now that Jeff Keighley has taken over E3 season, what do you think he'll take over next? Nike.
The sneaker industry.
I was going to say, Nike, sneaker industry, yeah. Sneaker company, definitely. I can't imagine any other possibility, really.
Probably do, I guess see him doing, concerts, video game-related concerts, because he gets groups of people together already for, the Game Awards and such. So maybe you can organize something where there's a specific theme or something like that. Who knows?
He buys into the Muppets.
Oh boy,
there you
go. The Muppets, exactly. The next Muppets musical, sponsored by Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
See, my thought was his whole dream is to become the producer to. I'm blanking on his name. Metal Gear Solid.
Hideo Kojima.
Kojima. He wants to be Kojima's producer and just be in whatever. Whenever Kojima finally makes a movie, he wants to be the movie producer.
I feel like he would jump in front of a car for Kojima.
Oh, he would.
100%. Next up, Jacob Tucker with $5. Thank you very much. Thoughts on the rumors about a Nintendo Direct coming next week? I'm wait and see about it personally. That's me too. I'm wait and see. I can see it happening. It is June. I can see it happening.
So every week there's going to be a Nintendo Direct next week. It's that season right now. So
I think it's possible, but I'm not banking on it. I think, but maybe. I hope so.
I'll be away, so enjoy.
Oh man, yeah, you'd miss one if it was next week.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll at least be watching it at your leisure.
I mean, I would do that. I'd be able to tweet it out or something, or maybe be off the laptop, because I have my laptop with me, but I don't know if I plan on bringing anything beyond that.
See, that's going to be the direct where Konami's new 2D Castlevania project.
Oh, I'd be pissed if that was shown. I'd be pissed.
See, what I need to do is skip a direct, because that's when they'll reveal Mega Man Legends 3. That's how it works. That's, I was actually kind of wondering, I mean, obviously not really, but because I wasn't able to be here for the Xbox showcase, I was like, I swear to God, if they announce Banjo this year, I'm going to be so pissed. And of course, they didn't. And, pissed as in, because I wasn't there to react to it, but also happy that it'd be coming. But thankfully, I did not miss that reveal. But I was like, I held my breath every time I saw a new, world premiere, because I was watching on my phone in the airport. And I'm like, if this is Banjo, if I hear a I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed. All right, one more. We'll do two more for now, then move on to some news. Oscar Navarro with $5. Thank you. Do you guys think we'll get pro models for the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S? Debating on whether I should bite the bullet now or hold off. In fact, I believe Phil Spencer just came out and said they're not interested in doing a mid-gen upgrade for the Series X and S.
What would they do at this point?
Exactly. I could maybe see a PS5 Pro down the line in a couple of years, maybe.
Regardless, there'll be some revision for the PlayStation. That's just common.
There'll be a revision, but hopefully it gets more storage space, because I feel it so quick.
Yeah.
Personally, I would recommend if you want one or the other, I would say go ahead and pull the trigger now. Even if there is a mid-gen upgrade, it's not going to be coming for a while. So I would say go for it. And there's so many great games to play on both systems, between exclusives and Game Pass. So really, it's a good time to jump in if you're even thinking about it, I think, personally. All right, one more for now from our good friend Bongo Lover with $5 Canadian and 50 Canadian cents. Thank you. Guys, can you believe it? Like a Danimal is getting a sequel. It's called Like a Danimal, Bongo's Wealth. But Bongo won't be butt naked in food aisles. Well, then what's the point? If he's not butt naked Ichiban, what's even the point? Why would you even play it?
That's what I'd show up for.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of Ichiban bearing it all, let's go ahead and talk about some news. And for now, I think the main thing is reflecting on the Xbox Showcase, the Ubisoft Forward, and the Capcom Showcase. And of course, one of the highlights, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. It's not called Like a Dragon 8 here. And wow, talk about the most bombastic, eye-popping way to announce Like a Dragon 8, right?
Bombastic.
I mean, who expected that? Who expected Ichiban waking up at the U.S. and butt naked? Like, what?
Somebody was dreaming of this day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It had to happen. Like, I'm trying to think because I've not played Like a Dragon, but I know he's a Dragon Quest fan, so I was like racking my brain. It's like, is there a Dragon Quest moment like this? But not really.
Right.
He got
Right,
isekai to America, and I want to know why.
Me too. And I loved Like a Dragon, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing the continuation of his story. Ichiban continues to be like maybe the number one character I wish was real, so I could just have a beer with him because he's just such a good boy, man. He's just a good guy, and I wanted to just have a beer with him and just talk with him because he's just such a bro in a good way. But yeah, looking forward to that. I know Steve is as well. He and I both love RGG Studio.
I have still not played a single one.
I know. What are some? So of course that was one of the highlights for me. But what were some highlights for you of the last week of showcases?
I mean, the two that come to my mind immediately were the Rebirth trailer, which, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that was, of course, not the Xbox Showcase. But from the Xbox Showcase and whatnot, Prince of Persia. My God, that looks fantastic.
That looks so good. And I know there's been a backlash because it's 2D. I'll never understand those people. And we'll be talking about that a little bit later in one of our Patron topics. But I think The Lost Prince looks excellent. And I'm not even someone who cares about Prince of Persia normally. Just don't really care about the series. I've always appreciated it from a distance, but like I want to play this day one. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Smooth and just fun.
Yeah,
60
definitely.
FPS on Switch too, which is awesome.
Right.
Yeah. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Speaking, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, just speaking of another series I don't usually care about and certainly don't usually play games from, Star Wars. But Star Wars Outlaws looks so good, and I'm like,
and from
this
Ubisoft.
is a Star Wars game I want to play from Ubisoft of all publishers. So, yeah, I think Star Wars Outlaws looks great.
They got my attention on that one. I'm gonna be cautiously optimistic from now on, but I am interested. I'd like to play it.
Yeah. Derrick, I interrupted you by accident earlier.
Oh,
man.
I was just looking over the list about other things that were announced on Xbox, and I mean, pretty much everything from Atlas I'm down for. Obviously, as Daniel pointed out in his video that dropped today, there's some issues with Persona 3 Reload, but on the base level of just how they've updated it, yeah, I think I like the changes they've made so far, and it sucks we don't have Katone in there. That's the big miss there, but it still looks fun. It still looks way better than the original.
Yeah, it looks even just way better than Persona 5. Like, those models are amazingly detailed. You can zoom in really close, and they've really done a complete overhaul of all the visuals, of all the graphics. And there's been more interviews coming out for that, and information drops and such. Some bits that have been leaking, of course, because, oh no, that's just going to be the problem with this game all the way up until launch.
Right.
But yeah, like, they're redoing a lot of things about Tartarus, about your social links. There's new events. There's a lot that we haven't seen yet. We haven't even seen a lot of the characters yet. So there's a lot to look forward to.
I can't wait to hear the
for
voice
things
actors.
For things that weren't leaked, Atlas's Refantasy that became Metaphor Refantasio, that looks amazing. It's not even like in the same line as Persona, but it was basically Persona 6 by what everything looks like, how it looks like so far, and like a completely weird, different fantasy setting that's unlike what we see usually in the high school setting for their usual fare.
Shin Megami Tensei aesthetics with I guess setting, I guess, or feeling with the aesthetics of Persona, modern Persona.
Yeah, first impression is that they're just pretty much blended together right now and to create what we have here for this trailer. And like, we're getting composers like Shogi Meguro is coming back for doing this instead, because he's pretty much freelance now instead of actually working with Persona directly. A lot of big names that work with Persona 3, 4, and 5 are coming to this, so I have a lot of expectations and I'm excited to see what becomes of that. But yeah, pretty much that's what got me most excited from the Xbox showcase.
Gotcha. Yeah, you mentioned earlier, Derek, the FF7 Rebirth trailer, and of course I wasn't here on the GVGcast last week to talk about it, but all I'll say about that is I might or might not have already watched that trailer like 20 times already. Oh my god, I'm so excited about that. That trailer is amazing. And I didn't get to talk about Sonic Superstars either, which I'm also really excited for, but that's okay. I know, Derek, one of the highlights for both of us, something we've been pining for years now, is Ace Attorney Trilogy 2. We're finally getting 4, 5, and 6 on
yeah.
consoles, and I
Yeah.
couldn't be
About
happier.
damn time.
Finally.
How long we waited.
I showed that to my wife right after the showcase. I was like, okay, close your eyes. You're gonna be really happy. And we watched it. And she's like, finally, we can play these games on TV together. And yeah, I could not be happier. I'm so excited.
I always hear they're not quite as good as the original trilogy, but I still think they're worth experiencing. Like I've played Apollo Justice. It's good. The ending is rough, but the new characters are pretty fantastic in that.
Right. And I know that one of the bright points, at least from what I've heard of 5 and 6, are Athena. And I'm looking forward to kind of, getting to know her more as a character. But yeah, like you, I have played Apollo Justice. Thought it was good, but not great. And I do kind of know how the story of 5 goes because I did the art book, the Udon art book for 5. But either way, I'm looking forward to playing these. And, my wife and I love playing Ace Attorney together anyway. So it's going to be such a cool experience. And man, thank God they announced that because the low light of pretty much this
Capcom didn't have much, did they?
well, they
Not
didn't
a
have
lot.
much, but guess what? They kind of announced a Mega Man game, but then it was like it was like the Mega Man announcement of Spider-Man Tobey Maguire's like dirt in your eye line because they're like, okay, Mega Man X Dive offline, fine. Maybe it's kind of cool to play a content complete version of this game on consoles. Well, guess what? No consoles. They're only releasing it for the same platforms the live service version of the game was on. And I'm just like, Capcom, why are you like this? Why do you do this to me and to Mega Man fans? It just it's just I feel like I'm going crazy here, but the one thing I will say that gives me a little hope, just a smidge of hope, is that Ace Attorney Trilogy 2 was part of that Capcom Giga Leak that also included Rockman Tyson and Rockman 12. So if that's coming, maybe the other two are coming. I don't know. But that was definitely the pretty rough for me to have that happen. But, another day of being a Mega Man fan. What else can I expect, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, but anything else any other highlights you guys want to mention or go over before we move on?
Not especially.
Not particularly.
They were fine, but like a few highlights, but nothing really stand out. Like there's a few things I'm curious about from Xbox, like Clockwork Revolution. That has some potential,
That was
but
pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
but I'm not like gung ho about super anything. If I was into Sea of Thieves, I'd be super into the Monkey Island stuff because I played Secret of Monkey Island and that was pretty great.
Oh, mm-hmm.
But
Was another year of me being excited for Pragmata and seeing it delayed in a really funny way.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
But,
Talk about the cutest delay maybe ever of all
how
time.
could you be mad at that?
Wow.
just a little sorry.
Yeah, that was such a great way to announce that delay. But it's also nice to see some sign of life. But man, the way they worded it sure did make it sound like Pragmata is in development hell. They couldn't even commit to a release year.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed it turns out well, but it sounds like it's in kind of a rough state right now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
no need to rush that one out. We got plenty on our plate already. So
Oh, for sure.
And Vedron in our live audience chat, yes, actually, Ace Attorney 7 was also in that same Capcom Giga League. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that means that's coming as well eventually. Yeah, so I think that's it for us reflecting on the various showcases. I think we're all pretty relieved that there are no more reaction streams, at least until maybe next week with the Nintendo Direct, possibly. But yeah, I think we all could use a bit of a breather because we did no less than, between all of us, like 7 reaction streams over
Yeah.
SGF.
I think so.
Like that.
I think
Yeah.
I was there for
a
all
lot.
of them because I think I ran
Jeez.
all of them.
Right. You.
Well,
Killed
Actually,
man.
no, I missed 2. One, I was
Okay.
technically here because of Amy with Wholesome Direct, but I did miss the Future Games Direct, which apparently was garbage.
It
It
wasn't
wasn't much.
great.
It was
No.
just fine.
I think
We
I was
did.
here for 4 of our 7 reaction streams, despite having to had to travel that weekend. And the Future Game Show was one of them, and it was kind of mid.
Mhm.
We
I think
did
I was
kick
there
off
for
with
all of them.
yeah. Brandon was there to kick off with Monster Hunter, our
Right.
Yeah,
whole
there's that.
schedule.
I'm sorry, yeah.
But
That is
yeah,
definitely true.
I did
I
see
just
it.
didn't
Well,
make it for that and for Ubisoft. I was here for a lot of them otherwise, but
Mhm.
yeah, running some of them too.
I did
And
see somebody ask about our thoughts on Starfield. Looks better than I expected. It is too big for me. I can't do it.
too
they
big for
showed
me, Derrick. 2023.
Yeah, I can't. I can't do it. I can't fit. I
Yeah.
can't fit it in to my schedule.
oh dear, there was
I hear that.
and they showed a lot of that game. Like there was a lot of information that they showed, from customizability to the worlds to the characters to combat. And for those who are super into it, like that's awesome, because there's just, you're gonna have a lot of game to play, but it's
Mhm.
probably not something that I'll myself be delving into very much, if at all.
Yeah, honestly, depending on how I feel about the demo, my September game might end up being Lies of P. Like I'll
Oh, yeah?
choose that over Mortal Kombat because I got Street Fighter. I don't need to worry too much about getting another fighting game. I can give that a bit more time.
I think my September game is
Yeah.
going to be Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, I mean, I'll still be playing
Working
that,
on
of
it
course.
by
Still be
yeah.
We'll see where
but,
I'm at, yeah. Because
yeah,
I might be still playing
exactly.
Final Fantasy 16 and all and Street Fighter and whatnot. So who knows?
Right. Also, Lizard81288 in YouTube chat. Yes, Capcom did say, or Shu Takumi said, Ghost Trick sequel could be possible if it sells well enough. If the
Buy this
remaster sells
game.
well enough.
so get
It
it.
is so
Buy
good.
it. Yes, buy the game. All right. Well, speaking of another game I think we'll all be buying, and one I just said I didn't get to talk about much, Sonic Superstars. Sonic fan community superstar himself, Christian Whitehead, has said that Sonic Mania's physics were fully translated to modern 3D for Superstars. And I'm going to post a link to a tweet in our live audience chat and our Patron chat so you can all see what he means, because this was in reply to the tweet I just linked that shows side by side, 1-to-1, how similar the physics are in
Yeah.
I guess in this case Sonic 3 versus Sonic Superstars, but it is 1-to-1 pretty much, I guess, and it looks awesome.
I've been
For
seeing a
his
lot of
part,
these.
Steve said he loved it. He got to play it.
I've been seeing a lot of these videos that compare physics. Like since day one, they were already comparing to like Sonic Mania or Sonic 3. And I mean, that's good to know. I mentioned last week when we were on the GVGcast, it's weird because you see the 3D models and I don't expect them to function the same way that the sprites do. I
Right.
keep
Mhm.
tricking myself into thinking it's going to be slow as molasses like Sonic 4. But no, they move as they should in the original Genesis games, and that's really cool to see.
Absolutely. And I think part of the reason I've had the same issue, Daniel, I think part of the reason for that is because we're used to when 2D Sonic games look like this, we've had borked physics like in Sonic Forces and to a lesser degree Sonic Generations, but it's so hard to imagine 2D Sonic looking like this but having the proper physics. But here we are. We're going to have a game like that finally, and we've got T. Lopes and Jun Steinaway on the soundtrack. Sign me the hell up. This game just, of course, 4-player co-op. I'm not sure how much I care about that personally, but man, it's a new 2D Sonic game. They're continuing the classic series in a way other than Mania. Still would like Mania 2, but I've made my peace with the fact that that's never going to happen. So at least we're still getting another classic game.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great point, Alpha Line. Really quickly, we should mention another game that we love, TMNT Shredder's Revenge. It had its DLC announced, and Usagi Yojimbo is going to be playable. Derek, I know you're hyped about that.
Oh
like
yeah,
I am.
I was like, it just made the most sense to put Usagi as the new playable character. I was like thinking over the characters of the show, and yeah,
Yeah.
give me my
I'm
Samurai
hoping-
Rabbit.
Hell yeah. And I'm hoping Mondo Gecko. Like, I want to see some really deep cuts alongside Usagi. Mondo Gecko, Ninjara, Karai. Like, just go ham with it at this point.
Was
And I
Karai
wanna
in the,
see-
80s,
yeah.
in the old show?
No, but, Casey barely was too.
Good
So,
point.
yeah. And Ninjara was only in the comics, but she's a damn cool character design. So she's like a shinobi fox. And I was like, she's always cool. So, yeah, I just want to see them keep going, have some deep cuts and just bring even more, TMNT fan love to this game that's already full of it. So can't wait for that. Thank you for the reminder, Alpha Lion. All right, one more quick story to talk about before we move on to our patron topics. And this is a bit of, I don't think we'll have too much to say about this, but Disney games are apparently looking for more wild pitch moments like the one that fostered the creation of the entire Kingdom Hearts franchise. And if you're not familiar, basically, Kingdom Hearts, as we know it, would not, or really at all, would not exist if not for a fateful elevator pitch. Literally an elevator pitch.
Yeah, it was a literal elevator pitch.
Yeah, and without that fateful meeting, there would be no Kingdom Hearts. And so they're looking for other wild pitches like that, and it just got my imagination kind of running. Like, what other crazy shit could Disney do that you'd think like should never exist? Like Kingdom Hearts, it's one of my favorite things in the world. Should it ever exist? Or ever have existed? Probably not, but I sure am glad it does.
Dang, Disney versus Capcom? When is that going to happen?
I know. I was just waiting.
Hell yeah. Disney
It's time for
versus
CVD.
Capcom. Yep. Squire, as you said, without Kingdom Hearts, there'd be no Woody telling an emo anime character to get lost. I love and that no one loves him. That is that's such an amazing scene that will never not be funny to me. But yeah, Disney versus Capcom. Hell yes.
I think we're already kind of seeing bits of this because we got that 4-player Mickey Mouse game coming. We've got badass Disney characters doing a kart racer type thing, a free-to-play kart racer with that Speedstorm. We got Disney Dreamlight Valley where it's more farm sim and doing their whole thing with that, and maybe a bit more traditional, but still not exactly expected. And I think there's like a beat 'em up one coming or something like that. I'm not sure. So we can sort of see that is taking effect. But as far as like truly wild, like Kingdom Hearts, I don't know. I like Daniel's idea because it's just hilarious.
Lightning strike in a bottle twice.
Yeah. What else would you do? I don't know.
Huh.
I mean, Disney already owns Marvel. Let's just have a Disney Marvel crossover. Why not? Right? I don't know what genre it would be, but I still love Disney versus Capcom though, or Disney versus Marvel versus Capcom. That could be fun.
Just integrate Disney characters in there. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Give me a silly version of the Avengers where all the Avengers are played by Mickey Mouse and the gang.
Oh, that could be cool.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a very specific one, Alpha Lion. Someone bumped into a Disney exec and pitched a Fantasia cross Fable crossover.
Whoa.
That is so specific, but
maybe. Yeah.
That might actually make me interested in a Fable game. I never really historically have been, but if it was Fantasia themed, maybe I would care.
Maybe a traditional, Kingdom Hearts is technically an RPG, but maybe a more traditional RPG with Mickey and them would be kind of interesting.
Oh, like a turn-based RPG with
turn-based type thing, yeah.
I'd be down for that.
Is there a mobile game that's like that?
I
could be wrong.
I know there was that whole Disney thing where they took all the villains and bishoujoed them. Like, I think it was only an overseas mobile game, and you could if you look, you could find it, and you have like sexy Hades and sexy Twisted Wonderland. That's it, Toon J.
Right. I never heard about that. Okay.
Oh, it did come to the West Vedron? I did not know that. I thought it did not. I thought it stayed over. Let's see here. Let me see.
Mirrorverse.
Oh, that's the one I was thinking of, where everybody get like a badass version of themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, Jason, FTN in our live audience chat. Disney Warriors. Give me a Disney Muso game, damn. I would be so down for that. Oh, that would be great. But it would have to be, it would have to be Trenchcoat Kingdom Hearts Mickey. That would have to be the version of Mickey in the game, right?
So here's the artwork from that Twisted Wonderland, how they made all the villains sexy.
What in the world? That's actually kind of great.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, that is so funny. I do a whole game in this style and do the same thing to the main characters too, to the protagonists.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
That'd be amazing. Oh my god.
Whatever, who knows if this is ever going to result in anything. This was made by, or this announcement or statement was made by Disney's VP of Games. But he said he also doesn't expect Disney to open any internal studios anytime soon. So, might just be, a lot of hot air. But the possibilities are fun to imagine and think about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty much our news for the week. Although I did mention to make or I meant to mention this earlier. We were talking a little bit about Persona 3 Reload. Our very own Daniel, right here on this show, released a video this morning on the channel talking about Persona 3 Reload, what he's looking forward to, what he's not so much. So if you haven't and you're looking forward to that game, check out the video. He did an amazing job. So Daniel, hats off to you, man, and wonderful job on the video.
Thank you. Yeah, if you want to hear me yell, like actually get mad.
Get mad.
I was telling Derrick, like usually I'm script writing and I have to do some takes, but there was a point where I just kind of went off on a rant, and it was just one take when I started to actually get angry about the Persona series. I was just like, oh, I guess that's where the real emotion comes in, where passion comes out. But yeah, just it didn't even I didn't even want it to be an analysis. I just kind of started to read into it. It was a really short trailer, so I just kind of just did it anyways, and then it just kind of became what it is. But yeah, that's please take a look, everyone. I'm pretty happy with my probably the best like voice work I've been doing thus far in my videos. So
nice.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, you've definitely been coming along, man. So yes, everybody go check that out if you're looking forward to P3R. All right, let's go ahead and do some more super chats, and then we will move on to our patron topics. So Darthist with $2 Canadian and 2 Canadian cents. Thank you. It's insane how, and this of course is Yakuza related, or Like a Dragon related. It's insane how Jordu and Kiryu share the same VA. I did not realize
Don't they look?
that.
I didn't realize they were separate characters.
Oh, you know what? Yes, I think. Yeah,
They're talking about the man who lost his name or whatever.
Man who erased his name. I know what you're. Okay, yeah, I didn't know that Jordu was. I don't want to say too much, but yes, it is insane, Darthist. Yes, but good call, Derrick. Next up, Lizard81288 with $2. Thank you. What do you think of the Nitro deck? It's only $60. So I actually had to look up what this is, and it looks cool. It just looks like it's something that doesn't fill a niche that I need filled in my life, because my Joy-Cons are working perfectly fine. I don't have any Joy-Con drift, luckily. They look cool. I like the GameCube version of it, but I like the idea. I just don't feel like it's something I personally need. But it's cool. If the three of you want to check it out, I'll go ahead and put it in
I'm looking now. So it's basically a dock, a handheld dock for the Switch.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, and it apparently has there's no stick drift whatsoever. Also that all that good stuff, but I just don't really feel the need for it personally. I don't play on handheld that much anyway, unless I'm traveling. So, yeah, I think it's cool for people who would use it. But
yeah,
one of these.
You what, Brandon?
I pre-ordered the Atomic Purple of this.
Oh,
thing.
you did? Okay, that's okay.
You have
cool.
to tell us what you think.
I will.
Yeah, please do.
I don't know. I really like accessories, so I have a lot of weird handheld accessories for Switch, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just get another one.
I would definitely spring for either the GameCube one or the SNES one. Either one of those are definitely what I'd want to get. Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for that super chat. And next up, No to Naughty with €24. Thank you very much. Thank you, GVG, for bringing a smile to my face every week. I've been listening to you for a decade now. You guys feel like distant friends to me. I hope you know how much you mean to us listening. Great vibes to you all. Thank you. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts, No to Naughty. That means the world. Thank you for caring about what we do and say for a decade. That's amazing. And thank you for following us from the old place over to here at GVG. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay, Tinker with $10. Thank you. I have to complain about Capcom and the Apollo Justice trilogy. Why are they not in Spanish? The Phoenix Wright trilogy and Apollo were in Spanish. All of their recent titles are in Spanish too, even Ghost Trick. That is weird.
I know
they showed a lot of different languages, language support in the trailer, but I didn't realize Spanish was not part of that. That's a weird omission.
That's pretty commonly translated for for audiences. Oh.
Maybe
hopefully they hear
patch it?
hopefully they hear maybe some backlash about that and fix that, because it doesn't make sense that all their other recent releases and even the original version of Apollo Justice had that, but this doesn't. That's very weird. So fingers crossed that Capcom fixed that before release, and they have little time because it's not coming out until early 2024. Next up, Gantourist with $2. Thank you. Happy early Father's Day. Well, happy early Father's Day to you as well. I'm the only one for whom that doesn't. Well, Daniel and I are the ones for whom that doesn't apply.
I was gonna say, Daniel, what are you not telling us?
I know, right?
Oh dear.
I'm just so used to being seeing all of you and just thinking, oh, I'm not gonna have any kids. But yeah, Daniel, you too, man. Well,
I have like
happy.
three
Yeah.
kids here basically sometimes, so I understand the confusion.
Good point. Well, happy early Father's Day to you, Derrick, as well as, of course, Steve and Brandon. And,
And
we
John.
love you. And John, of course. I'm sorry.
John,
Yes,
yeah.
and
Gonna
John.
be my
Yes.
first one.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
That's awesome.
Good times. I'm really happy for all of you, of course. And Brandon, I'm going to be curious. I'm used to you playing and beating games so quickly, and just I'm curious to see how
He
that's going
might
to be
still pull it off in
affected.
the first year. Give it year 2 and that kid's moving around a bit more. That's the
They keep you busy.
The real
Yeah.
test.
All right. One more for now, then we'll move on to our patron topics. $5 from Tekusen. Thank you very much. Hoping to see Ash soon. I had fun facing him in Mario Party, and he is a rather worthy opponent. Keep making people smile, everyone, and stay safe. Well,
dang.
thank you very much, Tekusen. I'm always down for more challengers in Mario Party, but yes, you are a worthy opponent indeed, and I'm looking forward to our next face-off for sure.
Dang, get me
All
in on
right.
that Mario Party.
yeah.
I know. Daniel,
I'm waiting for 3.
I know Mario. Where is Mario Party 3? And for that matter, 1080 snowboarding and
Who
the other
knows?
stuff. Pokemon.
We're too busy
Coliseum.
getting Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games.
I know.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem out of nowhere. Jeez, coming out the 23rd. I
Japan
think.
getting both of the
I know.
Blazing and Binding Blade games. Not
How
fair.
dare they?
I know.
Fire Emblem.
I know.
At least everyone can finally play and have the best protagonist showing again for Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance.
Right.
Oh,
Not
Lynn is
Hector.
yeah.
I know what you're gonna say.
Lynn is
And at
amazing.
least- And at least you can, make a Japanese eShop account and download the Japanese versions of all the NSO apps. So you can technically play those.
True. Good
if
luck
you have like a
understanding.
translation. Yeah, you need like a translation guide or something. But at least
Yeah.
you can technically do it if you want. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our patron topics for the week. And as a reminder, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/GVGaming. If you support us at the producer tier for just $10 a month, you, among other perks, you can also suggest topics like the ones we're about to discuss right now. And Brandon, why don't you get us started off this week, man?
This one comes from, is that Akil?
Akil P,
yeah, I
yes.
think so, yeah.
Akil
I
P.
think- Yeah.
With the last week or so being a preview of our likely E3-less future, what did you all think? Was there anything in particular that you think is better or worse than the traditional E3 format? It's hard to say. For so far, like, there's just too many presentations. Like,
Yeah.
it's exhausting. It's hard to stay excited throughout the entirety of the Summer Game Fest week, just because there's so much stuff going on and everything's so isolated. It was kind of nice to have the 3 major console presentations, and you'd get like Capcom and Ubisoft thrown in there for some bigger announcements. Sure, towards the last few years, they did start spreading out and doing their own presentations in addition to those, but this is too much. I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
I think the key person to hear about about this is Steve, because he's the one that actually got to do the gameplay demos, and I'm curious how
Summer
that
Game
was.
Fest public event, or not public event, but in-person event.
Yeah, where you actually got to try demos of all the games and get a sense of it. And I think that is a more interesting comparison to me for E3, because E3 was, oh boy, just always a mad dash of trying to get those things and
Yeah.
just interacting with it all. As far as the shows themselves, they were fine. I think more or less what you'd expect. Honestly, the Summer Games Fest one is the one that threw me off the most, just because, well, that and Ubisoft, because they were such throwbacks to old E3s, where all of a sudden there's all this fluff instead
Right.
of getting right to it. And Jeff was still playing with, like, this is almost like the Game Awards. It pretty much is the Game Awards, just without awards, and that was barely a thing at the Game Awards anyway. And Ubisoft was just like, I gotta be honest, I was getting some slight vibes of that infamous Konami presentation.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Nothing quite so extreme as that, but
No.
sure, definitely. I had I not stupidly booked a convention appearance of SGF weekend, I actually would have gone with Steve to the in-person event at SGF and gotten to play stuff like Sonic Superstars, which is a shame. And I'll, hopefully we'll be re-invited next year, and I can do that next year, assuming E3 really is gone for good. And what I will say about this is I will forever mourn the death of the public in-person element. of E3 week. For you, Derek, it was a bit different because you were always stuck in the media room dungeon, and that
I got to go out a little bit and check out
Yeah.
a few things that I was super interested in, but that's about it.
Yeah, and so, I'm always going to miss that element. That's why I, always painstakingly make sure I go to both, at least PAX West and PAX East every year, because I miss that in-person gaming show element. And if that ever comes back, I think that's a real loss, because personally, selfishly, it was really cool for me once a year to have all my friends, not only all of you and all of our team, but all of my friends across the game industry in my backyard for a few days in LA. I could meet them 15 minutes away, have dinner with, show them cool places and recommend cool restaurants, and can't do that as much anymore. Summer Game Fest, or still can do that to a degree, and next year I'll actually be here, so I can actually do that a bit, but it doesn't feel like it's quite the same. And I will always mourn that focus on an in-person element of the show. And I also just feel, honestly, really bad for people like the two of you, Brandon and Daniel, who never had a chance to be part of that. Back in the day, and Derek and I are oldies, but you two never really had a chance.
I got to go as a fan at the last public show ever.
At least you got to do that. At least you got to go as a fan. Yeah.
I forgot about this, but Dan Alphaline brings up a good point. They need to fix that aspect of trailers, because they know people are reacting to their streams.
Ooh,
and they keep playing that damned licensed music. Like, I know you're trying to go for a vibe, but no, stop it.
Yeah.
Just
The at-home user, the at-home user experience is not great at this point.
Yeah,
especially as it pertains to streamers.
And unfortunately, I just don't think they really care. They're just like, not our problem, out of sight, out of mind, not our problem, they can deal with it. But I agree. I really wish these presentations were more streamer-friendly, but you know how it is.
Streamers are their future. If they want this to work.
They want it to.
Yeah, you gotta... certain people can really say whether or not people are going to check out a game.
That is true. True enough. Well, anything else you want to mention about... Oh, go ahead, Daniel. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't ever, go to an in-person E3 event, but it's really interesting to think about what the two perspectives of this are, because there's the people that go to in-person events that have gone to E3. Now they're comparing it to things like Summer Games Fest, which I heard from sources that the Summer Games Fest this year was a lot nicer than it was the last year for the first year. So if they keep growing, if they keep becoming bigger and bigger, it could be kind of like just the replacement for the E3 venue, at least for that aspect. I hope we can all go to that next year, because we were supposed to do E3 this year if it was actually going to be a thing, and we didn't. That never happened. So we still need to we all must come together and unite our forces at some point. But as a digital event, it just kind of saps your energy for watching so many. But you're basically watching a marathon of advertisements, and I remember just watching Nintendo's, Microsoft's, and Sony's. And sometimes there was an extra show here or there, but now they've all kind of split off and done their own thing. Some of them are fun. Some of them have their own highlights. Like Devolver Digital goes off the rails every year for whatever they do.
Right.
But at least they're entertaining. And some of them I'm just like, just show me the highlights at this point, because that's pretty much what you would get a lot of the time for other events for the most part. But now we've got a lot of other filler coming in for these, so hopefully we can kind of trim that a bit more in the future. But yeah, it's kind of weird, because this is just like the season that we're trained to expect a bunch of video game news, so they all kind of come out at once, and it gets exhausting. It's kind of nice to do one direct or showcase or state of play every few months or so, but yeah, it's just a lot right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, kind of you touched on this, Daniel, but one of my dreams is hopefully next year we're invited to Summer Game Fest again, to the point, to a volume such that getting everybody out here in person would be worth it, would make sense for the investment. And I want to have the whole team together, covering something together, that we still haven't gotten to do that. And that is my dream, or one of my dreams for GPG. So I really hope we get to do that someday.
We got a college dormant up at Ash's place for those few nights.
Oh no! Unfortunately for us, we would definitely still have to get an Airbnb or something, because my wife is not gonna have six of us, and our place isn't that big, so that really wouldn't work, unfortunately. But I still want to make it happen.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh,
All
I'll join
right.
you.
Well, thank you for that topic, Akil. And Derek, why don't you take us with the next one, man?
Sure. Mine comes from Jack Sammons saying, "Hey GVG, with the fall season for gaming pretty much laid out after this past week of game streams, what new releases are you most interested in playing around September, October?" And I kind of actually, I didn't realize this, but I kind of spoiled mine where the one right now that's standing out is Lies of P. I need to take a look at October. That's September. What is October's releases? Because, dear God, there's just so many.
Spider-Man.
You got something to
Spider-Man.
say.
Well, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2 is
Okay,
October.
Spider-Man would be the next one. That's, yeah,
Yeah.
easy.
No question. Yeah, October is going to be all about Spider-Man 2 for I think probably all of us. At least all of us here on this panel, but I think probably all of us in general.
Steve, Steve and John, I'm pretty
I think
sure.
so.
I'm going to take a look at what else October has, but unless you guys have any others off the top of your head. It does have Alan Wake 2. That has some potential to it.
I'm interested in that, yeah.
Honestly, not seeing a whole lot of like big ones. We got smaller ones like Mineko's Night Market, Disgaea 7, Assassin's Creed. It's small. Assassin's Creed Mirage and Forza Motorsport. I just don't care about those. But they're there.
Yeah. If it was Forza Horizon, I'd be more interested because obviously I love arcade racers, but the more racing or the driving sim side of Forza, yeah, I'm not as into that. But on the other hand, September is also going to have the Crew Motorfest, and I think I was pretty much the only one, but I kind of have a soft spot for the Crew, and I thought it looked pretty good during Ubisoft Forward, so I'm not like, I gotta be there day one, but I want to check it out. It's something I'm kind of looking forward to.
October also has Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, and I really liked the first one.
Yeah, same.
So I'd love to play that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, Alan Wake 2, which I think looks cool. I didn't play the original Alan Wake, but I think I would probably enjoy it based on what I've heard. Who knows if I'd ever have time to actually go back and play it, but... and also for you, Derek, in September, there's Infinity Strash, Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai.
Oh, right.
I
And you,
forgot
Brandon,
about
that's
that.
true. Yeah.
I need to finish the anime before that comes out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about that one, so it's not like I'm like gotta have that one right away.
It's a retelling of the anime, so like it's meant for fans of the manga and anime.
Yeah.
So.
I'd probably end up skipping that one, I'll be honest.
Fair enough. I think for me, inevitably, September is going to mostly be about Mortal Kombat 1. My wife loves Mortal Kombat. We both do. She really loves it, though. So she's going to want us to have that day one so we can play together and check out all the new fatalities and just kind of absorb the games and its story. So I think September is going to be Mortal Kombat 1 for me. Although I was telling our patron and good friend Becca, who's really excited about Starfield, I didn't really care about it before, but then when I saw a little bit more from this past week and realized it's not exactly what I thought it was. It looks a little bit closer to something like Mass Effect, which I loved. I love the Mass Effect trilogy. We don't talk about Andromeda. But Starfield looks a bit closer to that vibe than I thought it was. And so I'm like, man, I'm never going to have the time to play it. Like you said, Derek, it is way too big a game. But I'm kind of a little more interested in it now than I was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For
sure. Anything else that we want to go over for September, October?
I'm pretty much laser focused in on Spider-Man 2 when that releases in October.
Spider-Man 2 is going to be it for October for me, no doubt about it.
I could be convinced to maybe try Assassin's Creed, but yeah, it's Spider-Man.
Okay. If we're talking November, I'll be looking forward to Persona 5 Tactica because it's a tactics game with Persona.
Yeah, that sounds.
That's November.
Pretty awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Jack. And next up, so we've had some pretty heavy gaming topics to discuss right now, but Daniel, you have something a little bit lighter for us this week, don't you?
Oh, it depends if you're talking about lighter or heavy for your stomach.
My question comes from
Blaker36 asking or saying, hello. What is your favorite pasta dish? And as a lover of pasta to the point where I'm pretty much Italian by how much I have, it's a very
Only I
meaningful...
can tell you if you're Italian or not.
I'm sorry. I have to go through the check for Brandon. My favorite, I always love a good tortellini, like a kind of 4-cheese tortellini. I don't really mind what kind of sauce you have, but I usually do like I'll mix an Alfredo with a pesto sauce, have that mixed together. have our own shred our own Parmesan cheese on it. Very good, very lovely. I'm always just a fan of a lasagna. Just a nice meaty lasagna. It's basically just a cheesy, saucy cake, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
My big thing is I can't have too much of the cheese that typically gets put in lasagna. Too much of that, and it overwhelms it for me, and I don't enjoy it. If it has to have a light touch.
Is it like the ricotta cheese?
Ricotta, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know some people that are kind of like they can't have too much of that either. But I love the stuff. It's not healthy for me, but I indulge. But yeah, that and a good fettuccine with shrimp. I love a good shrimp scampi as well. Those always make me feel good. But I could go on for pasta for a bit. Brandon, as our resident Italian, what's your favorite pasta?
You could put masticholi in front of me. Baked masticholi especially.
Oh yeah,
is great.
I don't think I've ever had that. What the hell is masticholi?
Never had that.
Never had masticholi? It really just refers to the type of noodle. I'm pretty sure.
I'm trying to look it up. I don't even know. Here we go. There it is. Okay, it does look good.
Had masticholi before.
It looks like what people commonly call like just a pasta bake.
Yeah.
Okay, it's kind of like a penne pasta. The little It's sometimes it's just the names are just like shape. You probably had some form of it at some point.
Yeah.
And then you can never go wrong with just a big stuffed ravioli.
Ooh,
that is heaven for me.
Ravioli. Oh yeah.
Those are fantastic.
Yes. Lasagna too. I love just a good stuffed lasagna. Somebody's gonna take that out and cut out the lasagna fries like a good stuffed.
I like my chicken fettuccine Alfredo. That's always
it's always a good
just
option.
a classic for me. And honestly, most pastas are really good. I'm down for most of them.
You really can't go wrong.
I actually saw something. We go to Costco just because we have so many people in this house, and on occasion they have this thing that they make themselves available, and it's pretty decent. But I wonder if it can be taken a little bit further if it was actually homemade. Ravioli lasagna.
What?
Oh.
Yeah,
Two
and we
great
tried it,
things
and that's
combined together?
pretty good.
I bet it is. How could you not have that? How could that not be good? Like that's
My two
I feel
great
like
loves.
it's a slam dunk. Yeah. Man, that sounds amazing.
It turned out pretty good.
For me, there is very little I like on this planet more than a really good bolognese. And I don't mean meatballs, not actual full-size meatballs. I'm talking about a good-ass meat sauce. And my favorite type of pasta is angel hair. So a good bowl of angel hair bolognese will just send me to the moon, man. I love it. Actually, my mom makes an amazing homemade pasta sauce that incorporates brown sugar. So there's like a bit of a sweetness to it. It's not overpowering, but kind of a sweetness to it, and it's so good. And my wife recently learned how to make it, and she does it just as well, and it's unbelievable. So I'm very lucky over here with my life in pasta. But yeah, a good bowl of angel hair bolognese, I'm good. I'm happy. My favorite food group is carbs, so I'm good.
I know that feel. Yeah. Like special shout out also for lasagna frita is really good too. Like a good. It's pretty much lasagna, those noodles for lasagna, but in a fried Parmesan breaded encasing around it. You can just top that with like Parmesan cheese with like whatever meat sauce you want with like Alfredo. That's always really good too. That's
right.
I don't have that too often, but it's always great when you have it.
I think the main takeaway here is that pasta really, you can't go wrong with pasta. That's just one of those.
It's a universal food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you just like mac and cheese, that's also valid.
You know,
Right.
I should have threw a curveball in retrospect and just say we're saying all these Italian dishes and just go ramen.
How dare
It's a pasta
you?
dish.
That is a pasta dish.
Technically, yeah.
Not the
Well,
kind we're thinking of, but yeah.
It's funny, also in retrospect, I'm so used to, like, as the host, doing my topic last, just because that's what I'm used to. But really, we should have done yours last, Daniel, because yours is like the light, fun, happy one. Because I assume we're all done with this topic. Is that right?
Yeah, except Becca in the live audience chat did link to a recipe of how to make ravioli lasagna bacon. Damn, that looks good.
Oh boy.
Oh, those pictures.
Oh my god.
I'm getting Italian tonight. You've done it.
That's what I've done tonight. Oh my god.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, like I said, we maybe should have done Daniel's last because yours is fun and light and airy, but mine kind of takes things back to a serious industry question thing. And this is something I'm particularly passionate about. So strap in, everybody. My topic this week comes from Andy Chung, aka Darkbee Andy, who says, or who asks, should 2D games be worth $60? And how should the genre be, or should the genre ever be full price, like $70? We've seen it before with Metroid Dread, now we're seeing it again with Prince of Persia and Sonic Superstars. Okay. I have always said that value is in the eye of the beholder. I don't think that you can decide on a universal value that applies to everyone. If you love 2D games like I do, and a lot of, I think basically everyone here on the crew does, if it's a series you love and it's a great game, like if Sonic Superstars turns out to be awesome, I am more than happy to pay $70 for it. I don't think that you can marry the lack of a third dimension to inherently less value. That does not make sense. Now, there are people out there who prefer 3D games, don't really like 2D games as much, and for them, probably not worth it, and that's fine. But all these people out here being like, oh, 2D games should never be full price because they're just 2D. Just 2D? What does that even mean? Some of my favorite games of all time are 2D, so it really works. It really worked me up, and I'm just like...
You know what's funny about the Sonic argument in particular? Sega will put Sonic out at a cheaper cost if they feel the desire to. Like Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed, I think was like $40 on release.
Right.
Sonic Forces, I think, was cheap on release. Now I say what you will about that game, but it was 3D, so that just tells me confidence in Sonic Superstars. Hopefully.
Totally. And I mean, and we've got some people in our live audience chat talking about Metroid Dread and how, if someone tried to tell them that Metroid Dread wasn't worth 60, they'd be like, what are you talking about? And I agree. I don't regret even for a millisecond spending $60 on Metroid Dread. Not even a little bit. Are you kidding me? Like, and that's what it comes down to for me. It's just, it's all in the eye of the beholder. You can't set a price that everyone is going to be like, yeah, that's what the value of that should be. Sometimes the lack of a third dimension is a plus. It's not a bug, it's a feature. I love 2D games like we all do, and sometimes a lot of times I'd prefer to play a 2D game. So, and if they announced Mega Man 12 and it was $70, okay, sure.
I wonder if it ties into the whole fact that people associate with indie games, and the discussion that indie games are always
Sadly, I think so.
Cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also never liked the distinction with indie games in the first place because people use that as a way to like invalidate them, I guess. Like, oh, that's just an indie game. Well, no, it's a video game.
Yeah.
People still made this game. Like,
Yeah. Some people act like indie is a genre unto itself, as opposed to just a different standard for development budget. The indie games aren't their own genre. A platformer is a platformer is a platformer. I don't care if you're the next big Sonic game or if you're Celeste. They're equally valid. And yeah, I can't, I'm so right there with you, Brandon. I can't stand it when people use indie as pejorative. And I think you're right. I think people associate a lot of 2D games now with indie and a smaller budget and lower prices. And I just don't think that's the right way to go about it.
I usually like to buy a game just based on like the longevity I'm going to get out of it. Like if I don't think I'm going to spend a ton of time playing a game, I'll usually wait for a sale.
That's fair, yeah.
But if I'm like chomping at the bit to play the next Mario, if it's a 2D Mario, I'm probably going to spend $60 on it. If it's New Super Mario Brothers, that's a different argument, but
Yeah. But like, for as much as I've played Sonic Mania over the years, like, are you kidding me? I would have paid $60 for Sonic Mania in a flat second. I would have done it at launch, but in hindsight, I've gotten so much playtime out of that game, and it still just brings me so much pure joy when I play it. $60 for something like that is, I don't even have to think about it, I've spent $25 on plenty of games that have only lasted me 3 or 4 hours just because they were short. Yeah. And, those experiences were just good. So I had no issues spending that money. Yeah. I mean, imagine if Nintendo announced a brand new original 2D Zelda. And they wanted full price for it? Take my money.
Some people still balked about that with Link's Awakening, so.
Oh, I know, but I mean, and Link's Awakening, I have my own issues with how that remake turned out, but in general, I'm saying, let's say it's the 2D Zelda of our dreams or whatever. The lack of a third dimension is not going to stop me at all from paying $70 for that game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It really
So,
depends how much you value a certain game in the series as well. But it's hard because you can't universally just set a price to a game and have everyone agree that this is the price that this game should be within the
right.
series. Like Super Metroid was $59.99 US dollars on release. That was a $60 game back in the day. Nowadays, you can just it's either just freely available, well not freely, but it's like on different virtual console services like NSO. Back when it was on like Wii and Wii U, it was like $10 or so, $15 or so for Super Nintendo titles, which it's just a different standard nowadays. And like for Ash, he gets a lot of mileage out of Sonic Mania, which I do as well. I love like all these Sonic games. I still play like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which was more expensive as well back then for being on the Genesis. But I don't know, the model is just weird. Like
Right.
and the price of inflation, all these other factors, and they kind of just kept it at this bar line for all this time. Like Tears of the Kingdom was $70. Do I think it was 70 now? Yes, I do.
Absolutely, no question.
It's a $70 game, and I would never question that. But yeah, I don't know. It just depends who you ask and what series it is, and just personal opinion. But that's just the curse of this business, is that it's hard to put a single price that we can all agree upon.
Yeah.
It really depends on what the developers think the value of this is compared to how much time they put into it, and just a bunch of other factors that we probably will never know.
Right. I mean, and there are a lot of great points being made in our live audience chat, like, especially with relativity to the way games used to be priced, like ToonJ723. You're right. Chrono Trigger was $89.99. Squire says Mega Man X2 and X3 were close to 80 because of the cartridge format, weren't they? Yes, they were. I was sadly alive and old enough to remember at that point. And even a lot of N64 games, including 2D ones like Kirby 64, those were like $80 at launch. Like, again, it's all relative. And it's all relative not only to your own, what you see as value in different things and what you personally like, but also you have to consider inflation and all these other, considerations. And I think we've all kind of landed on the same point that you cannot set an objective value on a game across the board. You just can't do it. I mean, it goes the other way too. I don't care about Assassin's Creed. It's not my thing. They're great games, but if I was ever going to play one, I'd probably wait until I could buy one for $20. Not because it's not worth 70, but because I just don't really care about Assassin's Creed, and that's okay. So, yeah, that's where I think we all kind of landed on it. I'm glad we're all in agreement. Anything else you guys want to mention about that before we head off here?
I think we're good.
Nope.
Let's get Derrick on his way.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Well, thank you all as always for your topics. We love picking them every week. And again, GVG, patreon.com/GVGaming. Check us out over there. We really appreciate it. And that brings us to the end of episode. Oh no, it doesn't. We have a few more super chats.
I was going to say you should have some super chats.
I'm so ready to get you out of here, Derrick. All right, we're gonna rapid fire these. I apologize. Okay, first off, we've got Disney Duncan with 2 super chats. First one is $2. Thank you. Star Wars cross Uncharted cross open world. That's basically what Outlaws seems like. It's not open world necessarily, but it sure seems like that's kind of.
They're saying open world, so.
Oh, are they? Okay, well then that's the vibe that Outlaws is going for. It sounds like, and I'm here for it. And then your second super chat for $5. Thank you. Some people thought Disney Domination would be announced at Summer Game Fest. Give that up, people. It's not happening. Nah, it's not. At least not in the form those leaked screenshots showed it in. Those aren't real, and I kind of don't think the whole thing's real. So no. I think we all kind of agree with that. Next up, Alan Wilkinson with £2. Thank you so much. Disney's Kingdom Livers, Mirror KH with WB characters. Oh my God, that would be interesting to say the least. Yeah. To say the least. I wouldn't be against it, though. I wouldn't be against it. Next up, Tinkered with $2. Thank you. Speaking of Bishojo, that new Superman show, I do not know about this.
Oh, you've not seen the ads for, what is it, My Friend Superman?
I don't follow Superman. I don't really care.
Adventures with My Friend Superman?
Adventures with My... Yeah, something like that. Okay. It looks very cute. It looks very cute.
It looks great.
It has some fun designs.
Okay. Let's see. Superman. I just want to check it out really quick. Images.
It is totally my vibe.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I love the design of Lois.
That actually looks pretty cool. All right. I could see myself kind of vibing with this. I thank you for telling me about it, Tinker. I did not know about this until today, so I really, really appreciate that. All right, next up, Blaker36 with $5. Thank you. I was eating Mexican, so I missed the show. Love you guys. You know what? If there is ever a good
Eating
reason
Mexican,
to miss
and you
the
came back and we were
GVGcast,
talking about Italian. So there you go.
Exactly.
Bringing all my favorite foods into this. Thank you.
And eating Mexican food is a perfectly viable, acceptable reason to miss GVGcast. So I hope
hungry now.
I hope you enjoyed your Mexican food. Seriously. Next up, Jared Helder with $2.20. Thank you. What is the best thing you've built in Tears of the Kingdom? I don't spend a lot of time building because I'm not very creative when it comes to like building stuff like that, and so I feel like I spend more time than it's worth just trying to make something cool. The coolest thing I came up with was something pretty simple that allowed me to use one of those floating platforms to get one from one of the Sky Islands to the other to bring a crystal where it needed to be for one of the shrine quests, and I felt really cool about that. But it was just like strapping two fans in a rocket and angling them the right way to do it. It wasn't that. Yeah, it wasn't that.
I had something similar to that where it's nothing special. It's simple as all hell, but I felt proud of myself because I built one of those simple like glider things, attached two fans, had a control stick, had some rockets so I can get there, was able to fly it over, get to where I needed to land, attach the crystal, and actually make it back. You know what? I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's simple. It is not complex at all, but I'm also not going to spend all that time making like this giant mech thing that I'm not going to build again or have the resources again. No, I'm going.
Yeah. What about you guys, Daniel and Brandon? Anything you've built that's really cool?
I got I mean, it wasn't like a good build, but I put like a stone square platform, attached 4 legs to it in a way that they would kind of walk. It like fell apart after stepping like 7 or 8 times. It just had 3 legs left, and I was like barely hanging on. But you know what? I was proud of it.
Hey, there you go. You should be, as you should be. What about you, Daniel?
Mine was just like dumb but practical. Just get a stabilizer and pretty much make a bridge on the head of it really long, and then activate it. It will fling you because that goes straight up. The momentum will fling you across the world if you make it long enough.
I did not even think about that. That's amazing.
Me neither. I did come across a cool guide video on YouTube the other day that like is a tutorial about how to make a really cool flying machine that you can use to get around very quickly. And I might just use that as a guide, just to make my own because that seems like a cool way to get around.
Get an airbike going.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's I think one of my favorite things about building things in that game, even simple things, is when it doesn't turn out at all the way you envisioned it in your head, and it just falls apart in front of your eyes, and it's like, what happened?
I've had that happen a few times. Like, okay, where did I go wrong?
Exactly.
I had Amy going, Derrick, at me for a while when I first started playing the game, and I couldn't figure out how the best way to turn to get the stuff positioned the way they were. And she's like, how are you this bad at physics? I'm like, give me a sec. I'm good now, but it was rough when I first started. She was like really questioning me.
I love it. All right, next up is Born96 with £5. Thank you. Super excited for the new Knuckles series. The new actors announced / rumored are giving me much hope. I think we're all excited about Knuckles. I think one of the new actors they announced was Carrie Elwes.
Yes, and Christopher Lloyd.
And Christopher Lloyd, that was the other big name. Yeah, I think we're all pretty hyped for the Knuckles series. I know I certainly am, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for that. Next up is ToonJ723 with $5. Thank you so much. Price is based on budget plus how well they think it will sell. Both 1-2 Switch games probably have the same budget, but the sequel is half the price. I think internally, you're right. I think the question was more talking about public, audience perception. Yeah, but internally, I think you're definitely, onto something there for sure. Next up, Disney Duncan, again with $5 more. Thank you, Duncan. What video game series do you think should have difficulty options for accessibility? It's the reason it's so hard for me to play Souls-like games. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Without exception. I think games should be accessible to all. I don't buy the argument that Dark Souls and Bloodborne should only be hard because that's the way they were intended. If that's what the developers want to do, fine. That's their decision. But I personally think it's better if all kinds of games are as accessible to as wide an audience as possible. If you want to play a super hard game, if you want to keep Dark Souls or Bloodborne on a hard setting, you can do that while still allowing people who aren't that good at games to come in and enjoy the game anyway. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Can't disagree.
Yeah. Well, that does bring us to the end. That was the last super chat for the day. Thank you so much, everybody. You all are so incredibly generous every week, and we couldn't be more appreciative. As always, we have to give a special thank you to all of our all of our patrons at the producer tier and above for helping to make everything we do here happen, because it would not be happening without you. Thank you so much. And also, as always, we have to give an extra special thank you to all of our patrons at the executive producer and above tier and above. And those fine, amazing, incredible people include Brandon Bovia, Cutie Caitlin, Fangs, Z Patty, Just Brian, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman23, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Logan Daniel, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Blake, Critter XD, Joy Content, Angel Martinez, Vedron, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Azran127, Black King, Joseph Rutkin, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Wataniac, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Showmix, Andrew Medeiros, Brady Power, Darchi, Becca, Killamox, Sean Davis, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber CPHT, Too Much Spaghetti, very topical for today, Bane 400, Ascaron 809, Ryaner, Nathan Steele, Puppy Wuppy, Rain and Clouds, The Game Orb, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Rosa Pardo Bowling, Hey Steve's Mom, Skull Kid Tiger, Darksteel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jurassic, Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy, Derrick, Colin, Blaystar 25, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Keel, Mood Knight, Brendan Hesse, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Brainchild, the entire state of Wisconsin, Jim Wakelin, Longboy Shiggy, Aramis Baramis, Dad Alpha Lion, Lord Metarex, Blaze Collard, Eric, Cat EV Person 5, Aflac McQuack, Peyton Thiel, Mega Beatman True Blue Reviews, Jung Ant, Ryan Hanley, The Game Jamie, and last but certainly not least, Danny Walsh. Wow, thank you all so much for your incredible support. As a quick reminder, Brandon and Daniel are over on our Twitch channel every week doing Good Vibes Arcade, so check us out over on Twitch for sure, twitch.tv/officialgvg. That is us. That is it for us today. We are headed to our patron-exclusive post-show. We love you all. Have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you later. Good night and good vibes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
Meet again.